So here's a new type of video. I know it's been a minute since my last animation, so here's a sneak peek at the AMV I've been working on. Looks cool, right? Anyway, the holidays just passed, my birthday just passed, so I haven't really been working on animation or other creative endeavors very much. I do intend to get back to it pretty soon, but I really wanted to try something new in the meantime, something that's kind of been on my mind for a while. I love video essays, but I am not much of a writer. I'd love to talk about things I like, but I tend to ramble a lot. But there's one topic I think I'm okay with rambling about. Metal HELLSINGER. If you follow me on other socials, you'll know the reason I was absent from YouTube most this year is because I was working on a 40-page fan comic for Metal HELLSINGER. On top of that, I dedicated a ton of time reworking the wiki from the ground up. Go look at it, I did so good. I also have a life-size Paz I built myself, and I'm working on an unknown cosplay. I'm a big fan of this game. I remember when the trailer came out thinking, damn, this game feels like it was made for me. It's a rhythm game, FPS, full of demons, and the Unknown's design. We love her. We love you, Unknown. Then I saw that Serge Tankian was singing one of the songs, and I, System of a Down liker, went bonkers. Wishlisted it, bought it the day it came out, beat it the day it came out, and the seed was planted in my brain. Put it down for a while, thinking, wow, that game was pretty cool, and the art and animation was pretty sick. After a few months, I replayed it because I didn't remember much about it, and oh god, that's when it all began. I was obsessed. The plot, the characters, the animation, the designs, the gameplay, everything about this game had me hook, line, and sinker. And that's not even going into how much I love the soundtrack. It's basically just an album on its own. I listen to it on repeat. I love it, but more than anything, the characters. I love all three of them. And I want to talk about them. Spoiler warning, obviously. I'm going to be delving very deep into the lore here. Look, my media literacy is not fantastic. I often miss themes and character development and subtext. Not that I intend to do that, I just failed English class really badly. So if I get something wrong, no I didn't, because I'm the HELLSINGER liker supreme. I look very deep into these characters because there's something fun about delving into their motivations, just past the surface. They're like a angsty scratch and sniff, and baby, I'm making my way through the perfume department. So sit back, grab a snack while I delve into Metal HELLSINGER's lore through its characters and how I feel about them. To sum up the lore, the Unknown appeared in Hell one day and immediately started throwing hands with everything she laid eyes on. Nobody knew who she was, why she was there, or what her deal was, so they just called her the Unknown. The Red Judge, who is the devil and the antagonist of this game, saw her single-handedly shrinking Hell's population and decided to imprison her in INVOKE, the coldest hell for the worst of sinners. She also took the Unknown's voice, leaving her with pretty much nothing. Unknown did not like that very much. So she found the Archdevil in charge, ripped his head off, took his scythe, ripped the scythe's head off. Now she has Terminus, her trusty Falx. And that was all she needed to get back to ruining the judge's day. Paz, our narrator, this little skull dude, senses that she's trapped down there and frees her with his magical magic. They meet up, they look lovingly into each other's eyes or whatever. And now they're a duo that cannot be stopped. And I mean, they cannot be stopped, no matter what the judge does. The judge even steals Paz for a bit, and their bond is so strong that Judge is significantly weakened afterwards, like she's trying to separate really big, strong magnets. Anyway, Unknown makes it to the end of the game, you kill the judge, then it's revealed that she and Paz were angels and were kind of in on this whole thing. Judge planned it all out, they both got themselves cast down to hell. They hoped Unknown would find her way out because of the prophecy. Now Unknown's got some of her voice back, and Judge basically tells her to go to heaven and fuck everything up. Pretty please. Now that the short summary is out of the way, let's get to the characters. The Unknown, our protagonist, is fantastic. I mean, all the characters are, but she's incredible. First off, her design. Let's be honest, it's not often you see a demon lady design that looks like this, but she is so cool. She's covered in dirt and blood and scars, and she looks eternally pissed off because she is eternally pissed off. Couple that with how strong she is in game, wielding a bunch of different weapons and her sword and her magic and everything else. You have a recipe for a really cool character. Now, she's not this horrifying, bloodthirsty demon. She's just there to get her voice back. If you're not the judge, you're not her target. If you're between her and the judge, get out of the way quickly before you're turned into ground beef. But something I also appreciate about the Unknown is this layer of softness. She's just a person who got caught up in a prophecy, a situation that was entirely out of her control. She had a powerful voice, and it was taken from her because fate decided she was the HELLSINGER, which in the beginning nobody really understands yet. There are times when she shows mercy, even if it's small, from not killing a single marionette to this bit of lore. She's angry, she's being attacked by Judge's forces, and if anything, she's defending herself. Even in the final cutscene, she gives the Judge a chance to speak. The Red Judge, who trapped her in her eternal torment, took her voice, then sent hordes of demons after her for probably a billion years, then tried to kill her with spears, then tried to kill her with angels, then tried to bend space-time to eradicate her existence. And you get it, gets a sliver of mercy from the unknown when she absolutely did not deserve it in that moment. Remember this point. Moving on. Even after killing the Judge, she's trapped in the Leviathan. Now that she's escaped a prison of eternal torment, she gets to escape a prison of eternal torment. But this time she gets to lose all of her fucking memories. But hey, at least she has the Jawbreakers from Ed, Edd, and Eddy. And of course, she still powers through it. I don't even think she's paying attention to Paz. She's just killing demons left and right with any weapon she can grab if the altar's nice enough to give her one. Then we finally meet the Lost Unknown, an echo of reality that broke free from the cracks that even the All couldn't contain. The ending of Leviathan makes me ill. This Lost Unknown has been trapped in the Leviathan for so long, because the Leviathan is outside of time. She's been driven crazy by her escape attempts. She's got some alternate memories from our unknown, which is where the lost weapons come from. But she also has the ability to manipulate existing memories, which greatly terrifies me in the context of Judge and Paz, but we'll get to that later. This is also the first time we hear the Unknown's voice, when she finally regains it from the fight. After defeating Lost Unknown, we get back to that softness I was talking about earlier. She uses her precious few seconds with Paz to tell him that all of this wasn't his fault. The thing that he was so worried about at the beginning of Leviathan. Your voice is still my voice. And then she's gone. For about 20 seconds until another unknown shows up. Which is another thing I love about the unknown. No matter what, she always comes back for Paz. In Leviathan, she came back, I think. When they're human, she came back. Thankfully, Paz left a million clues about where he was. Even though we're told by Paz during Acheron that she's probably strong enough to reach heaven on her own, she always comes back. They like each other. I really wish we knew more about her. Even her name. Does she have a favorite color? Why is Paz so deeply in love with her? And why did Judge do what she did for her? What is it about the unknown that draws these angels in? And why did they sacrifice so much for her? Assumedly, they knew about the prophecy, that her voice was powerful, and that she would ultimately achieve what they wanted. But how could they be sure? And why were they willing to subject themselves to eternal torment just in case it was true? Paz and Judge fascinate me, because I have no idea what their ties are to the unknown beyond what they've told us. Pazelius is such a character, handcrafted for me to be put in a microwave just to watch him spin around. I'm so serious. There is so much to him. I could go on for hours, and I have. His deal is to be the narrator of the game, a deuteragonist to complement our lovely unknown. However, he's kind of the polar opposite of her. He's laid back, he's pretty chill and easygoing. Not as powerful, but definitely helpful in navigating the hells and helping out the unknown, especially in the beginning, when her magic isn't strong enough to break the anguish gates on her own. Until you start peeling back the layers. As soon as you really start listening to Paz's dialogue, he might as well have a giant neon sign saying, "I have anxiety," floating right next to his head. He's unsure about every step they take. Everything feels like a leap of faith to him. I'm sure he's confident in the unknown's powers, but that doesn't mean he's not scared shitless about the things going on around him. Take Gehenna, for example. When he sees the angels, his first thought is like, oh no, oh, I don't want to deal with that. Oh, that's so scary, that's so bad. When he talks about Judge's aspects, he's always apprehensive. He's always hesitant. He talks about how scary hell is, how anyone other than the unknown would have never made it as far as she did, etc. But even beyond being in hell, which I must say is a pretty good reason to be afraid of everything forever, is the way he treats himself in regards to the unknown's path. All of his existence before being cast down to hell was to be used as a tool, an instrument of the all, to see and hear and give voice and praise. And he's still doing that, except he hates the all and is being a cheerleader for the unknown now. I know it's not the same thing at all. One of them was blind worship and the other's out of love. But it goes to show that he's kind of used to this sort of thing. That being said, when the idea of the unknown leaving comes up, things get a little sad. He always assumes he's going to be left behind. Outside of Vogue, he hopes that the unknown will find him, thinks it's lucky that she does. Well, yeah, sure. But then at the end of the base game, he leaves a ton of graffiti and he's talking in this bar about missing his friend and not knowing if he'll ever see her again. My guess is all the graffiti was to lead the unknown to him. Then Leviathan, where he sacrifices himself just to get her out, gives up hope of ever seeing her again. Even though she keeps coming back, he's still unsure because he sees himself as a tool, as something replaceable. But he never sees himself just as an ally or as a friend to the unknown. The Red Judge does not get a lot of love. Don't get me wrong, she's the antagonist and a pretty evil lady, no doubt. She's literally the devil, but I digress. I feel like a lot of cool things about her are completely overlooked and I want to talk about her. She was actually the main reason I was making this video because she very, very quickly became one of my all-time favorite characters. Why do I like the antagonist more than the other two? Well, there's the basic criteria of a Teshieff favorite character. Skeleton, evil. She's also, unfortunately, really funny to me. "This prophecy appears to be dubiously relevant" is one of the funniest lines in the entire game. She's also got a very interesting dynamic with other demons. While she is the ruler of hell and is very commanding and strong, with tales of her taking on the archdevils alone and coming out on top, I love her, oh my god. Most of the time, she isn't over the top with it. I mean, she talks with her demons and the angels so normally, it kind of just feels like this is all routine stuff, which it kind of is. There's rules and laws and hell politics and stuff. But all that aside, oh my god, is her story depressing. Let's start from the top. The Red Judge is the leader of hell, as I said earlier, the devil, but hell shenanigans are kind of interesting. She seems to have a lot of people working under her that respect her, probably because she'll fucking blast them with lasers if they don't obey, but who am I to judge? When she hears about Unknown's escape and then blasts a guy with lasers, she forms a council of war, which is basically her rounding up a bunch of demons and going, "Hey, can you guys go kill her for me?" And they all like, "Yeah, sure, we can do that." They could not do that. When things start going sideways, the judge grows increasingly desperate to stop the Unknown, starting with rituals and spells, even calling down some fellows from heaven, and then blasts a guy with lasers, which, as I stated earlier, she fucking despises, so that's a pretty big deal. In the cutscenes, she's actively growing more stressed. It's even starting to shine through her aspects after some time. There's this uncertainty that turns into taunting, that turns into intimidation, all these tactics that she's using to try to get the Unknown to back down. Unfortunately, the Unknown is the unknown. So Judge keeps failing. Then we get to Acheron. She reads Paz's memories, and my god, that must have been shocking. Finding out you were actually an angel, and the skull you're holding was someone you once worked directly with to conspire against all of heaven, and you both are supposed to be rooting for the demon who is currently wiping the floor with your army, and that demon is on her way to kill you, badly, and you planned for this to happen? I would have dropped to my knee. You see, before the judge was the devil, she was an archangel. She saw corruption in heaven and wanted to stop it. She wanted to lead some sort of rebellion against the all. She knew about the prophecy, she convinced Paz to join her in rebelling against God and they failed, but not really. She purposefully got herself cast down so that her memories were wiped. She wouldn't remember anything, which hid her own plans from her, probably so the all didn't find out. It's at this point, and the Shoal cutscene, that Judge regains those memories and has to play cool in front of her subjects as if she's not the coughing baby waiting for the hydrogen bomb in this situation. It's hard to watch once you know everything about her. In hell, you lose what you love most. The Unknown lost her voice, Paz lost his love. However, in the end, they're both slowly getting those back. The Unknown has a fraction of her voice and is gonna go get more, and she and Paz keep finding each other, even if he keeps getting lost on the way. The judge, in her final moments, got her rebellion back, which tears my heart into pieces. In that final cutscene, Judge says she lost her rebellion, which implies that that's what she loved most. The idea that she was fighting for something better. And in the end, she never gets to see that something that she sacrificed everything for the greater good, to save existence from corruption. She had to become something terrible and evil, and accepted that role. In order to do that, she had to give up her role as the Unknown's protector. We don't even really get to know what that means, whether it was a guardian angel situation or something else. All we know is that the judge cared for the Unknown in some way. She cast down this innocent soul, trapped her in hell to get her angry, and knew that in the end, she would be the one to pay for it. And she was completely okay with that. And even got Paz to agree to that absolutely batshit plan. And then he cast himself down too. Heaven is such a terrible place. They both actively hate working with angels, openly and explicitly despise them, hate the memories of heaven, and would rather get sent to hell and die instead of whatever was going on up there. Judge was ready to fix it all for herself and for everyone around her, and she was punished for daring to dream of a better heaven. These characters are all great because they all work with each other beautifully. Their motivations, their personalities and attitudes, and of course their sick-ass designs. My entire fan comic was made because I wanted to scratch that itch of having more character interactions between them. And in the future, if this game gets a sequel or more DLC, I just want to know more about them. I want to see Unknown succeed in tearing it all down. I want Paz to grow more comfortable and confident in his part of the journey. And I want to know if he and Judge had more to them in the past. Hell, I won't lie, I've even thought about a lost Judge emerging from those echoes of reality like the lost Unknown, except she's here to help us on our journey. I miss the Judge. Anyway, if you made it this far, play Metal Hellsinger. If not for the story, the gameplay is incredibly fun. I think Leviathan mode is sick, even if it is a little grindy. And if you don't want to play it, listen to the soundtrack. It's just good. It's just really good. It's so good. Introduced me to so many new and really good bands. It's just really good. And last but not least, thank you. This is my first time really sitting down and writing a script and narrating and doing a bunch of editing and stuff. I really hope it was fun to watch, or fun to listen to at least, because I know I listen to these types of videos when I'm drawing or animating, and if this is fun, I might just do more of them. I know I have a couple topics I've been wanting to talk about that other people haven't really covered, so, you know, maybe I'll do it again between animations or something. We'll see what happens. Oh, and also read my fan comic. It's called Everything...